Ready?
Yeah, I'm just watching.
Okay,
you
yeah,
going?
sit back and relax. So here's the convergence theory. So it starts with an idea. We call that MVP, minimal viable product. And then what you do is you give it to your customer, and then your customer reacts off of it. It's typically negative because the customer, simply because of this M, the customer says, you know what? I kind of like what you're doing, but I need more. There's like 2 or 3 things that you need to add. So you just add them, and then the customer reacts again. But it's not as bad as the first reaction because usually they get that. No, you have to have this. You have to have that, or else I'm not going to do business with you. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then this process of reacting keeps going and gets less and less, and then it levels out. Now, typically we know, and I don't know why this is, but we know that this takes about 18 months. And this entire back and forth is a refinement process. So it's getting better and better and better and better. I do tell people that when you get to the end of this and it levels out, by the way, their language changes. The language over here is, what are you, an idiot? I can't believe you're so stupid. You know, that kind of language, like really harsh language. And then over here where the line levels out, the language is more like, it would be neat, or it'd be nice, or it'd be cool. And the thing is, you can't build a really scalable organization off of neat, nice, and cool. It's got to be here where it's pushing people. And that's, we talked a little bit about it. It's typically negative feedback. And then down below here, there are people in the business that are catching this feedback. And this is where they get their really good information about what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how it affects other people. And they convert all of that information into wisdom and experience, which is super important. And I've told my students that one day they're going to be paid in direct proportion to their wisdom and experience. That's just how it's going to work. Not the apps that they know, not the things that they can do, but how physically the wisdom and experience they get from this refinement process. It's really important. And then this wisdom and experience is where you're able to generate something that I'm not a huge fan of because it gets thrown around a lot, but innovation. And we talk about, like I said at Alchemy, we talk about your unique, innovative qualities. What is it that you have that no one else has? And you have to define that, because if you can't define that, then you're just simply a commodity, which means that you're selling the same thing that everyone else is selling. So it's going to be a price battle. So what I want to do is I want to help people get out of the price battle, and I want to help people identify why are they unique. By the way, in the class, we're going to talk about a definition of innovation. And it's a simple definition. And then when you apply that definition to what you're doing, you actually instantly become an innovator. And it's really important. The market needs it, your business needs it, and then you need to see yourself as an innovator. But it creates a problem, and that's the next step. That's called the innovator's burden. Because if you are truly innovative, 2 things are going to happen. 1, people are going to have no idea what you're doing, and 2, they're going to be terrified of you. And that scales. The more terrified of you they are, the more innovative it actually is. And the innovator's burden helps people really communicate their uniquenesses in a way that people can consume. And I always like to tell people this, is that your customer first has to understand what you're doing, and then second, they can consume. And you can't flip-flop those, because you just get customers who are mad. I don't know what you're trying to do. I have no idea what you're doing. Or what they do is they pull your innovation down to a point where they can understand it. They accidentally devalue it. And I want that to stop. Yeah. So the innovator's burden says, you have to explain, well, what is it currently today? 2, what are the future possibilities? And then 3, why is it important? Which, by the way, the third one is the big one that the customer's missing. Because they don't understand it, they don't know why it's important, therefore they won't consume it. So, lastly, all of this comes together because what we do is there's a formula, it's called value-based pricing. And it's a real simple formula that helps you understand what is your financial impact and value, and then what percentage. And I always recommend that you should just take 10% of your overall value. That way, the customer gets 90%, you get 10%, and you actually get paid at the level of the value. as money equals value is the principle behind this, and let the money symbolize the value. Okay, that is the convergence theory in a nutshell.